My name is Mike Jean, and I'm the owner of Big Sting Sustainable and head beekeeper for the sustainability program here at Skyline. So, we have 30 some odd hives, 34 plus hives all across Canada that we manage for Skyline, and that's part of a pollinator project. It is partly education as well, getting people in the buildings where the beehives are on get to understand a little bit more about pollinators and how they benefit the environment and how important they are in our natural ecosystems. But for Big Sting Sustainable, it's one pillar that kind of gets us to what we want the company to eventually be, and that is a really big mover in educating people on sustainability. PERMA is short for permaculture, and permaculture is short for permanent agriculture or permanent culture. It's basically a design science that looks at patterns in nature to build sustainable abundance. So in agriculture, you looked at, how are we going to grow enough food to feed 10 billion people soon on the planet? And it said, nature has figured it out, and let's look at what nature does, and let's replicate that to grow our food. My main business is a marketing business. It's called Sow and Grow Communications, and it's probably the anchor to the two other businesses that I have, including Big Sting Sustainable. The marketing business is a twofold. So on one hand, we do fractional CMO services. So we go into an organization, we act as a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, and then we kind of structure the marketing so that it's a bit more effective. And then on the other hand, we're a full service marketing company. So we do all the traditional branding, messaging, along with content creation, social media management, those kinds of things. And then the third business is Canada's largest festival of sport. And so they all kind of work together. I'm really attracted to businesses that end up doing a public good or a good thing in the end. So I think as far back as I can remember, I got a job right away as soon as I was 14. A lot of jobs in sales before that, and I've always kind of excelled, and I've always managed to have multiple projects. Even when I had a job, I'd either have multiple jobs, or I'd have little things on the side at school, selling clothes, selling snacks and water, all those kinds of initiatives. Yeah. The peers that we interact with, kind of on a daily basis, kind of help us or help me specifically in not giving up, and that's the lesson we kind of learned. That it's just until I quit, I'm still in the game. So the lessons are just failures are lessons. So we just learn from that. Won't do that again. Won't say that again. We'll try that differently next time. And as long as I can keep doing that, then it's almost impossible to fail, to be honest, if you do it that way. Because you just learn. It's just, I always call it tuition. And sometimes we fail big and it costs us a lot of money, and I'm always like, that's tuition. That's tuition. I think it would have been 2003-ish. We decided to launch a magazine, myself and some business partners, my cousins. And it was going really well. We had St. Joseph's Media and Rogers Media fighting to publish the magazine. We had maybe about $300,000 worth of advertisers willing to advertise in the magazine. And at that time, it's not like today. Like, entrepreneurship wasn't as big as it is today. The culture just kind of wasn't there. And it was really one of those, like, how are you guys even doing this, kind of situations? And in order to access the funds, I believe we kind of had to show that we were kind of stable, and that we weren't going to receive all the money, advertising money on issue 1 and then go out of business issue 2 kind of thing. And through our accountant, we secured a loan at the bank. And on the day that we were to go sign for the loan at the bank, up until that point, our accountant had been handling all of the negotiations, and we just had to come in and sign, and that was that. And we showed up at the bank to sign, and the gentleman was acting really funny, was looking at us up and down, and and as we were signing, he asked us, he stopped us, put his hand down on the paper, and he said, this is for real, right? And we were like, and we really were confused. We didn't understand what he was talking about, and we kind of laughed a little bit. And he said, I said, for real? Yeah. And he said, right, like, this is not a scam. And we were like, scam? Like, we were trying to really understand what he was talking about. And anyways, we signed the paperwork, and we went home. And the next day, our accountant said, yeah, there's no loan. They decided to I guess, reject the application. And that had a lot of very big effects on us. Obviously, we were not able to prove the funds and lost the advertisers, and it kind of deteriorated from there. And to overcome it, permaculture teaches us that the problem is the solution. And we had a lot of material. We had, we did our own photography, we did our own graphic design, and we had a lot of material set out for this first edition, the first couple of editions. And we decided to take those materials and sell them to the modeling agency, because we had a really great shots of some of their models, and they came back to us for more, and then asked us who built our website. We had built our website and asked us if we could build their website, and then that's how we basically got into marketing. We slowly became the production end to advertising agencies. We got a referral from them to an advertising agency that they were working with, and that kind of set us off on the path to entrepreneurship in the marketing world. So that problem became a solution in some ways. Black history to me is a double-edged sword. So on one hand, it is recognition, right? So looking at the contributions of all of the people who came before me and who have paved the way for us to be able to exist, in this environment the way we exist in it. But on the other hand, I think that it's not fully used or investigated, if you will. I don't know if that's the right way to explain it. For me, I look at Black history as more Slave History Month, because we only focus on that portion of the Black history or the Black experience, which is important, obviously, to create better futures. We can't forget, the past, but we existed before the slavery, and there's a rich history before slavery, and I feel like that is something that is not focused on enough, to show some of the contributions to society in general, dating back thousands and thousands of years. It's such a rich history. So I think that we need to focus a lot more on that. When you talk about diversity and inclusion, I often tell organizations, you don't have to be inclusive, you get to be inclusive. When you have people who come from different backgrounds, you get different points of view. And those different points of view are often really good for an organization. Right? If coming at solving problems through different lived experiences is a benefit to organizations. So I think when we highlight and when we focus, I think it creates opportunities for organizations and the individuals within the organizations to feel proud of the heritage, proud of where they come from, proud of the contributions they can make in organizations or in society in general. You get to do it. You win if you do it, and if you come at it from that standpoint, then you make it an active, it's like a verb, you make it an active part of your daily interactions. And then it just becomes normal. And then that's what we want, is for everything to just be normal, right? And we all get to win because we're partners in this game of life. Sure. Well, on Instagram, I'm the Prince of Perma. So just do a search for the Prince of Perma and you'll find me there. That's where you'll kind of get an overhead view of my thoughts and philosophies. Again, using the 3 ethics and the 12 principles of permaculture on everything. For the Good Games, I'm at Mike at thegood.games, and that's Canada's biggest festival of sport. And again, our goal is just to get people active again, get people back into sports. It falls off after university and high school, and we just think it has so many transformative benefits that we just want people to get back into sports. Good for mental health, good for physical activity, all that good stuff. And then I have the marketing company, which is Sow and Grow. So it's soandgrow.co. So Mike at soandgrow.co.